You know what? I think they don't see my worth. Okay, but you're not a product with the price tag. But what they did was not right. I think I deserve more than that. I'm worth more than that. Yeah, what they did was wrong. There's no questioning that. But do not reduce yourself to this idea of worth. Stop idealizing somebody so much first and then to gain power or control back, idealizing yourself by first saying that you have a worth and then parroting it yourself again and again. I'm worthy, as if it's something worth pondering. Do not attach it to yourself in the first place, and you will never have to convince yourself again. You know that feeling when that switch flips and automatically you're questioning your value, your so called worth? Because we have sort of learned to look outside, outward, to check on ourselves, to check that worth temperature based on other people. So let's talk about this whole idea of worth and how often we are advised to detach our worth from other people's actions, independent of external thumbs ups, which is right. But what does that even really mean? So, when someone treats you wrong, someone doesn't reply, or they seem distant, our default is, what did I do wrong? Why don't they see my worth? They don't value me. That's how easily we fall into this transactional mindset in relationships. It's a shaky foundation that we have with ourselves, let alone with others. It's like setting up a game where you constantly need points from the outside. When we attach our identity to this idea of worth, we automatically create this need to keep proving it. And their behavior has surprisingly very little or nothing to do with your worth or your value. We are usually the ones making that painful leap or connection, self inflicted in a way, that link we create. Absence is maybe just absence. We rush to fill in the void in any way possible. We rush to decode a message that might not even be there. Maybe silence does not mean anything unless you assign meaning to it. Why not just sit without it being a big statement about yourself around your worthiness? And let's say, even if it signals rejection in a way like uneven reciprocity or uneven investment, maybe let them miss out on you. And you hold true to what you want and do not stray away from that. Just leave. Do not grant them that level of access to your inflow. But thinking that they don't see your worth is you selling yourself short and then you're questioning if you're worthy or not. Your inherent value as a human connected to something bigger is just the same as that person. Your worth does not go up and down based on external validation and demand. And why even call it worth as if you are seeing yourself and others having that fixed price tag? Idealizing somebody and yourself and puffing yourself. And there's a difference between being open and porous. You can be receptive to love, to connection, but if you're porous and if anyone's mood, reply, and lack of one seeps into your stability, you need to seal those leaks. No one should have that kind of access to your emotional ecosystem unless they have earned it through consistency and care. So we need to ask these questions. What am I hoping will happen? And what will I actually do with that outcome? These questions uncover a lot. And 9 times out of 10, you will realize and you will see that it was never about that person fundamentally. It's about you trying to soothe or solve some internal issue that was frankly never theirs to fix. They might have been just a catalyst for growth or change. That's how life works. It throws situation towards you for you to see and realize how you have built your whole world around something or somebody outside of yourself. It's like looking for an external solution for an internal problem. It's like trying to slap an external validation bandage to an internal wound. So, life actually shows you things that you need to see and work on, and how you don't have to explain, prove, impress, or constantly entertain. You're not here to audition. So, let's come back to this concept of worth now. When someone does something bad to you, you think the core takeaway from that situation is realizing that you're worth more or you deserve more. But in actuality, you were being shown your patterns and your behaviors all along, and you were supposed to work on them. Just maybe attracting certain kind of people and situations. could be a reflection of your own internal patterns, beliefs, and behavior. Obviously, life or universe or God knows that you do not deserve these kind of situations, but it also knows that in order for you to come out of this loop of attracting such unfavorable situations and people in your life, you need to work on your patterns, and they only come out and show up when you're actually interacting with them actively. And that's how you invite good things into your life. That's a more constructive place to be in. Maybe ask yourself what pattern might be running the show for me and work on those underlying patterns. Because anyway, it was never about your worth. Never. Nobody ever questioned your worth other than you yourself. That's where the doubt originates. Keeping your focus on your worth can and will paradoxically keep you chained to this idea that it needs validating all the time. And life is just creating situations where maybe you need to leave because they don't align with you or your life and go for something better. But all you picked from that was that they don't value me or they don't see my worth and they don't see my value. But when you do that deeper work, that constant need to grade or value or check your value based on other people might just fade away. It might just become irrelevant at some point. And this whole social media is screaming and advising people to see their worth, but nobody's telling anyone to work on their underlying patterns and see how things work for them then. Once you do the work, you will see how things turn out to be in your favor, and you will never have to question your worth again. That won't even be a concept in your life anymore. So, pulling this all together, instead of being stuck in that loop of asking, am I worthy based on others? The real power move is to turn inward, to understand our own landscape, to see our patterns and recognize how these patterns might be shaping what we experience. So maybe next time you feel that old familiar pain or some kind of self doubt triggered by outside, maybe pause and ask yourself what pattern might be playing out for me and what could shift and open up if I moved my focus away from constantly grading my worth and instead got curious about understanding and evolving patterns that are within myself. And that's how life will start working for you. And that's how you will stop questioning your worth altogether because that's not even worth pondering.